Hello everyone and welcome to Action RPG. I'm your host Aaron, and for today's video we're going to be checking out a game I got a feeling you've never heard of. Because guess what? I hadn't heard of it either. Title, The Last Oricru. And do I know what an Oricru is? No, I do not, but I can tell you this. Are you ready? Fantasy, medieval, action RPG with aliens. Yes, medieval, sci-fi, fantasy, action RPG with aliens. Let's check it out. As always, I will share my thoughts. Please feel free to share yours in the comment section below. And don't forget to subscribe to support smaller channels. All right, let's jump right into this. Right now, we are on the website PC Games N. Titled this article, The Last Oricru is an action RPG with Dark Souls-like boss fights and giant rat people. Now, let me set the stage. You wake up from a slumber, some kind of cryogenic sleep, and an alien stabs you. Now, normally impalement would kill you, but not this time, because you are special. The Last Oricru. Listen to this. Koch Media's brand new publishing label Prime Matter and developer GoldKnights have unveiled a new third-person action RPG on the way next year at tonight's Summer Game Fest extravaganza. The game will be a medieval sci-fi mashup that looks set to appeal to Dark Souls fans and Rat Games fans alike. The Last Oricru is like any great RPG game, about choices and consequences at its core. Set in a fantasy medieval realm, the game sees the player awaken from a kind of cryogenic sleep to find themselves in a strange world full of tough, unforgiving, and skill-based combat, both in the form of duels and mass brawls against groups of NPCs. It has 6 skill trees which you invest in by collecting essence from fallen foes, and along the way you'll be making key decisions that affect the outcome of your tale. You can try to befriend them all in your playthrough, which probably won't work out so well, GoldKnights says, or you can make the enemies make enemies with them all, which could be very possible. And tricky, Gulp. From the gameplay revealed, it looks like it's got some Dark Souls-esque about its combat and tone in some ways, although it's also got a distinctly sci-fi spin to it. It also has giant rat people with giant rat tails and ears. You heard it here first, people. Now this is what people are most excited about. Even though, how can you not be excited about what you've heard so far? The game will include both single-player and couch co-op, and I've been seeing that more and more on PC titles. Couch co-op, as well as a handy hop-in, hop-out gameplay that'll let you tackle its world with a buddy as and when you like. The Last Oricru is set to release sometime in 2022. So you feel like you got a good kind of understanding of it? Let's do a quick dev chat, GoldKnights edition. Right now I've got the executive producer and game director for The Last Oricru. Guys, what is this game all about?
It's an action RPG where I try to show the relativity of good and evil from different perspectives of living and breathing world.
Now you say living and breathing, what does that mean exactly?
It's important to understand that The Last Oricru is quite challenging and skill-based RPG, but compared to many other titles in this genre, our story does not take place in some dark and deadly realm. Waking up in a living and breathing sci-fi medieval world of Wardenia, players find themselves in the middle of war for supremacy over the whole planet.
There is something interesting about the war, as usually warriors of each side believe that they do the right thing, often fighting for survival and well-being of their people. So the idea of the game is to show the player the war and the euphoria of the winners, but also the misery of the losers, to make the player realize that the number of decisions he can make in the game will affect all the living beings in the world.
Now you mentioned choices in The Last Oricru. How impactful are these choices?
The impact is major. First of all, you are the one who decides which side will win the war. But there are many different roads through the game, and you can experience the whole game only after multiple playthroughs. I want to give every player his own experience and try not to push any moral code of what is wrong and what is right. Simply, you make the decision and actions, and based on that, individual characters have their own reactions. This creates different situations, so you can find your own friends and allies and play the way how you think it's right or fun.
Exactly. Each player can define their own path to side with different factions or betray them and influence the future of each race and in the end the entire planet, basically. And it is not done just by few choices somewhere in dialogues or by completing some quests, but by your continuous actions and decisions. Let me give you an example. In many scenarios, you are asked to kill the general of Redkin people, and you can obviously refuse doing that. But if you decide to kill him, there are many possibilities of what you can do with his head, which serves as a proof of his death. You can keep it and become hero, or you can give it to the queen and come closer to her heart, or you can give it to another characters of this conflict with different outcomes.
Now, what if I want to play this game as the bad guy? Kind of always take the treacherous route. What does that look like in the Last Oricru?
Yes, there is an option that you will try to do as much harm to do as many beings as possible, and there are some dark characters that will be pleased by that. However, cooperation with them may be eventually very painful for you. That's another interesting thing, that often there is some hidden party involved in many wars, which profits from both sides of the conflict and the conflict itself. So that's a bit of the hidden part in the game, which you can play, but it will be a little bit difficult to play.
Now, it's already been announced that this game is going to have co-op. I was hoping you could elaborate just a little bit on that.
Those lonely nights when you play games which are super exciting for you, but you feel a little bit sad that you cannot share that experience with anyone, that was generally the idea.
Yeah, there is a great demand for couch play in the whole third-person action RPG genre. So we are sure that for our future audience, the co-op is going to be one of the most or the key features of our game. And that's why we went even farther. We have many situations what can be solved in co-op differently than in single player. So you can find new fun ways of how to kill some bosses, or solve some puzzles, or reach some special secret areas. But you know, at the end of the day, combat is bread and butter of an RPG. So if you, for example, play as a melee tank, while the second player plays a magic support, you will enjoy tens of awesome hours of shared fun.
All right, guys, last question. Now, you just mentioned spells and melee. Hopefully you can break down combat for us all.
Well, the combat is targeted at more experienced players. I'm very much on the wave of recent challenging RPGs that are based on the skills of the player, timing and stamina. We are trying to build some interesting magic mechanism in the game that would let you use some more than block and fast attack buttons.
But, you know, don't forget that our world has sci-fi roots, so what is for someone magic can be for more developed culture or technology.
But be prepared to die.
A lot.
Like a lot. Yeah, a lot.
All right, everybody, last but not least, we have to check out the official Steam page. Now, I know you are all waiting to see the gameplay trailer for this because I've built it up so much, and unfortunately that's not coming because we don't have official gameplay. But when they give that to us, I promise you I will make a follow-up video. This game has already been added to my wish list, and I will link this Steam page in the description below if you want to add it to your wish list. The Last Oricru is an action RPG with a strong emphasis on storytelling and player choice. The players awaken in a sci-fi medieval world on the brink of war and starts influencing the dynasty of the whole world. Game is designed in both single player and co-op experience, and that is where this game is getting the biggest buzz and what makes me the most excited. Single player, shared/split screen co-op, and remote play together. You see a lot of great third-person action RPGs coming out, but I would say literally 95% of them are single player. And a lot of times the developers just don't want to focus on multiplayer because that changes the entire dynamic of the game, from balancing and skills and puzzles and everything that goes into it. The Last Oricru will have this. And again, this Steam page does have a lot of good information about the game. Link is in the description below. But you know that when we have an official Steam page, we have to go through system requirements, and I actually thought they would be beefier. So Windows 10, of course, Intel Core i7, 8GB RAM, GeForce GTX 1060. I got a feeling most of you will be okay there. And then 20 gigabytes of storage space. All right, everyone, that's the video. I want to know your opinion. The Last Oricru. Granted, we don't have gameplay. From everything you've heard so far, Do you see yourself picking up this title? Let me know in the comment section below. If you have not joined the official Action RPG Discord, please do so. We're approaching 1,000 members, great conversations every day. The idea is to create a gaming community that could jump from game to game together, so you never start the server alone. Link for that Discord is in the description. And who knows, this game's multiplayer, so maybe we'll be playing the Last Oricru together. That's all I got. I hope you were entertained, or at least learned something. Aaron, out.